Hey everybody, my name is Keith Nesso, and Tarot by Keith is my channel and my YouTube page, Facebook page. So I wanted to talk today, just give an introduction on my interpretation of tarot, what it means to me, what it could mean to you. I just want to kind of open the conversation. I study from the ancient Marseille Tarot. It's the first edition tarot known to man. No one knows the origin of tarot cards. The earliest that it's been traced back to is the year 1471, which is really before the printing press. So hand-painted Marseille decks are kind of as old as it gets. But no one knows the true origin. Personally, I believe it's the same information that's in the Torah, only it's in pictures and symbols and colors. I think there's a lot of messages encoded in the images in the tarot, the colors being used, and the similarities between tarot and Kabbalah exist in the Tree of Life. The tarot has 10, the numbers 1 through 10 are very important to the tarot, and there's 22 major arcana, and the Kabbalah Tree of Life has 10 nodes connected by 22 lines. And I just find a lot of similarities going between tarot and Torah and Kabbalah and Marseille Tarot. So there's a lot of much more modern decks out there, which would be much more familiar to a lot of people who are just getting introduced to tarot. And thanks to Alejandro Jodorowsky and Philippe Camoin, they restored the ancient Marseille Tarot. So that's what I have hand-drawn and hand-painted decks from. That's what I give readings from, and that's what I'm going to be teaching about, is from that perspective of the ancient Marseille. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about is kind of demystifying tarot a little bit. It's not witchcraft. It's not occult. In my opinion, it's not even a tool of divination or fortune-telling. Rather, it's a mirror. It's orchestrated to be a mirror. So whatever your spirituality is, if you're religious or not religious, or whatever you want to call your spiritual beliefs, doesn't really have an influence on the way the cards work. It's simply a tool with which the higher power, source, spirit, whatever you want to call it, God, it's a way for that energy to break through the veil and speak to us on a third dimensional level. So the cards themselves act like a mirror, and they give you a snapshot of what your energy is like in a moment. And I like to say that it provides guidance, but it just kind of uncovers some information that leads you to the guidance that already resides within you. It's leading you back to yourself. Now, the reader is important because the card reader is the interpreter of what the cards are trying to say. So you are a bit at the mercy of the interpretation, which is where maybe the craft and the art of reading tarot comes into play. For me, it's highly intuitive. Sometimes a card means one thing, and the numbers and the colors give me clues and handles as to what the message it's trying to get across. But there's a heavy reliance on intuition and feeling energy of the person I'm reading, which can be done in person. It can be done remotely. Time and space are really an illusion when you get down into quantum metaphysical properties. Time and space kind of go away. So it's just about connecting energetically to get a feeling of what the cards are trying to say. And obviously, I tend to read either 3-card or 6-card spreads, and the cards change meaning depending on the cards that precede or come after them. And we'll get way more into that in future videos, but this is just an overall introduction of tarot. And one of the first things I wanted to cover was the structure of the card. So tarot cards are built on a double square structure. So this is a little thing I made up here. So there's 2 perfect squares, one on top of the other. Now, the top square represents the earth, it represents the sky. Okay, the top square is the sky. It's heaven. It's your spiritual beliefs, whatever they may be. And the bottom square is the ground. It's being grounded. It's earthbound. And the middle square, which is the same size, is where the human resides, because we bridge the sky to the ground through our heart. So if this is the spine of the card, the chakra system can be found along the spine more often than not. And mainly with the center of the card representing the heart chakra, because the top 3 chakras exist above the heart and the lower 3 are below the heart. So the middle of the card often represents the heart chakra to me, which becomes important in some readings. Now, if we dissect the card vertically, we get the left side and the right side. And remember, the tarot is a mirror, so you have to view it as a mirror. This side represents the right side of your body. Okay, and active masculine energy is represented by the color red. So all of these numbers, 3, 5, 7, and 9, are red because they're on the right side of the body, and they represent active masculine energy symbolized by the color red. All the even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, over here on the left side of the body, which is your feminine, passive, receptive, intuitive side. Now, all of us have these dualistic red and blue principles. We all have masculine and feminine principles within our bodies. So the even numbers are receptive and intuitive, and the odd numbers are masculine and active. Now, these are some of the handles that you grab onto when you do a reading. So also, numerologically speaking, only the numbers 1 through 9 exist in numerology. And this is another reason why I tie this back to Kabbalah and the Tree of Life, because they both have 10, whereas vortex math symbolizes only 1 through 9, because everything reduces down to a single digit in numerology. So a 1 plus a 0, a 10, is really the same thing as a 1, right? However, 10 does exist in the tarot, which means it's significant. So again, like the Tree of Life, this 1 through 10 symbology to me is this never-ending fractal of expansion. It's like you climb the ladder and you get all the way to the 9, which is the master number of the universe, and the level of fulfillment. And 10 is the finality of a cycle. And the number 10 represents finality and renewal at the same time. It's like you have one leg in the old and one leg in the new cycle. So it's a bit disorienting. It's even and odd at the same time, because 10 is even and 1 is odd. So it's red and blue, which kind of makes it purple. So it's odd and even at the same time. It's masculine and feminine at the same time. It's red and blue at the same time. So 10 is that bridge. It's that portal point of leaving one cycle and getting ready to climb the ladder all over again, which never stops, right? You never reach the end, but every time you climb the ladder, you're doing so from a new level of awareness. So there's this never-ending journey of wisdom and knowledge and enlightenment, and that's what's symbolized by both the Tree of Life and the structure of 1 through 10 of tarot. So, main takeaways on this first video: the structure of the tarot, 2 perfect squares. The double square is also very symbolic in architecture. All the Masonic lodges are built with double square. It's a very well-known architectural dimension. The top square is the sky, the bottom square is the ground. The human lives in this cross-section. The even numbers are representative of feminine, receptive, blue energy, and odd numbers are active, masculine energy on the right side of the body, left side of the body. The 1 and the 10 are very much connected with the energy of ones. However, 10 does exist. So, and the connection between tarot and the Kabbalah. So I'll wrap that up here for now. Just a little introduction to the Marseille Tarot and its structure. And I'll be back with more. Thanks. Tarot by Keith.